Aaron Whitlow.
Oh, we're live. Brandon Spivey here.
I just literally was saying, and we're going live. We're going live. And
Yeah,
we're
but
live.
yeah, but I don't know.
You just saw I was like messing around, man.
I just thought you were talking to yourself, honestly.
Yeah. Sometimes I talk to myself, Brandon, but that wasn't one of the times. Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey once again, and we are the Markout Movie Podcasters.
Brandon
Woo!
has shown a new look, by the way. He's even shaved his hair. He's going,
Yeah,
he's
I
going,
just
he's going
watched.
sports for both us.
I watched Statham. I was so impressed. I went and got a Statham haircut.
Oh, it was Beekeeper was what did it for you, all.
That's what did it for me.
Well,
Maybe I'll learn how to fight like him too, and I'll be really good.
maybe. Good luck to you. Before we get into the movie that we're talking about, his list, before you get into movie news, I want to share an image with you that I saw, and I thought you would love to comment on it. So I guess let me give me a moment here. Uh, um, bear with me. Um, trying to get the word. There we go. So Jim Carrey just celebrated his 62nd birthday, and this is an image from one of his birthday party. It's called the Laugh Supper. Is what they're calling it. It's so as you can see there is Jim Carrey. I can only name who I can name. Honestly, I know Seth Green. There's Adam Sandler right next to Seth Green. Above is that one guy that does the voice of Sonic. Uh, and then I don't know who it is next to him, but I do see Terry Ellis. Then there's David Spade, Jimmy Kimmel, that one bald comedian. I forget his name. He literally does have alopecia. Uh, and then it looks like Howie Mandel. Don't know who that guy is. Don't know who that guy is, and don't know him. And it looks like I forget his name. He's in that Dad movie, whatever that is. And then I keep wanting to call him his character Daryl from The Office, but Craig Robinson. I think Craig Robinson. I think it's his name, Craig Robinson.
Yeah, that's him.
But yeah, what's your thoughts on this picture?
Oh man, I think it's a great picture. It's kind of surprising because the way Jim talks, like he's such a loner. I just figured he didn't associate with many people in Hollywood, especially the way
Mm,
he's talked the last few years about how things are ran up there. But I like the picture. I think it's great. They're all having a good time. It looks like
yeah,
it's good. It's good
yeah,
to see. It's good to see Jim Carrey smiling and having a good time.
yeah.
Uh,
And I thought that it's kind of interesting some of the heavyweights that's in this picture of comedy. As
yeah,
far as Jim and Adam together, which we've never seen an Adam and Jim film, which would
no,
be like really cool if that comes up out of this. Then Seth Green, which we all know Seth Green from Austin Powers and a lot of stuff in the '90s. Like,
yeah. He was in Buffy for a little bit.
he's in Buffy for just a little bit as the wolf. He's the werewolf guy.
Yeah,
And then Craig Robinson, who I love in The Office, as Daryl. Is actually one of my favorite characters on that show. Was
I,
one of my favorite characters on that
yeah.
show.
I always go to Hot Tub Time Machine with him
Yeah,
because he was like for me the odd man out, but I actually liked him a lot in that movie.
yeah,
I really did. I thought he was really funny, but I didn't know who he was at the time, so that's why I call him the odd man out. But yeah, I thought it's shocking. I never you never see them together, so you don't. Maybe they just don't run together, but it's great to see everybody in there. I mean, it really is. It's one person
yeah.
missing that I figure would have been in there, maybe because they
Who
were
that?
friends. That was Will, but after that slap, Jim said some. He said some things,
Yeah.
and I can't really disagree with what he said. I mean,
And the
but
other guy that I was referring to is Ben Schwartz.
yeah,
And then
Ben.
yeah, then this the other guy. He's a comedian as well. I forget his name. He's in that that movie that I thought was really terrible, the Dad movie that came out last year.
Oh
But
yeah, I can't think of its name. I know who you're talking about.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't mind that
Bokeem
movie actually. Yeah,
Bokeem was great in it. I thought it wasn't terrible, but I felt like he was. It was weak. It could have been better. Is what I think. I do love seeing Bokeem uh, pop up and stuff. He was in that movie. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool just kind of seeing these guys all together, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
yeah. I mean, it's a cool picture. It's good to see people having a good time instead of. Uh, I wasn't really gonna go into this. I figured you would.
Yeah, we can do it during the. You say you have movie news before we,
Yeah.
because you can do that, and then because we're gonna get into the movies, and this is gonna come up. Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
So
I've been thinking what I was going to say, but was I going to have a comment about it or not? But the movie news, I saw 5 topics. We could just briefly, really. I mean, Pauly Shore is in one of them. I'll start with him. He is supposed to be Richard Simmons in a Richard Simmons biopic, but Richard Simmons has come out and said they don't have his permission to do this film. So I don't know if it's happening or not. But say it is. What's your feelings on Pauly Shore?
is Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
Well, Pauly, I like Pauly, but Pauly's too silly to be taken serious. And I hate to say that, but I hadn't seen Pauly do like a serious role that would tell me. Whereas like Adam Sandler, we know he can do
Yeah.
serious. We know that we knew Robin Williams could do serious stuff. He could like he had that type of versatility to
Yeah.
do. Whoopi Goldberg, for instance, can do serious stuff. So these people can do serious because they are just actors. They're great. They're great
Well,
thespians. But I think that with Polly, I
mm-hmm.
feel like if we have seen Polly do more like serious roles, maybe then I could.
I
Even
haven't.
though it'd be more of a comedic thing because he's already a comedic type of character.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I was trying to literally think of anything he's done recently that I've seen, and I haven't seen anything he's done since probably Pauly Shore's dead, and I feel like that's over a decade ago. So
Yeah,
I don't recall him doing anything remotely serious. I mean, he had some moments in Son-in-Law where he had to be serious, but if it's to be a true biopic, it's. And I did read what the producer said. It was going to be like a dramatic movie. I was just thinking, well, Pauly Shore is probably not my first choice. But on one hand, I'm like, well, it's good that Pauly's getting a chance at a resurgence. But it feels like it'd be the wrong type of role for him. But I don't know. I was just curious when I saw it. I was like, well, I wonder what Aaron thinks about this.
Good topic though. What's your next one?
Okay, next one. Let me think. I didn't write them down, but okay. Bill and Ted is getting another sequel. Apparently, Alex Winter went to Twitter or something and announced him and Keanu have a really good idea. And they're gonna start writing it soon. My opinion on this, I'm not the biggest Bill and Ted fan, so I love the first one. I didn't care much for the sequel. The third one, it was okay. It's just Keanu kind of weirded me out by being shaven, and he don't look right. He don't look like Keanu shaven anymore. He looks really old, and I don't want to insult him or nothing. It didn't feel like Bill and Ted in that last movie, really, to me. Now, that's just me. I'm not the biggest fan of it, so. But yeah, they're planning to do a fourth Bill and Ted movie. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not interested in it. Look, like it's like Bill and Ted by itself. The first movie is an iconic '80s film. I think
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely put it up there with like the like second tier. Like so, the top tier '80s films would be like Back to the Future, Goonies, Breakfast Club. I'll even say Weird Science, stuff like that. Like as
Yeah.
far as like those type of movies. But I would say Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is second tier. It's in its a really great category. It's not to be thought of less, but the sequel, Bogus Journey, was like to me pretty pretty. I never liked it. I never liked it. I never liked the
No,
whole going to hell thing. I never liked. I always hated that movie. I hate I hate movies whenever they have duplicates of the characters pretending to be the other characters. I always hated that trope in movies. I don't care what it is. I always thought it was terrible. Only time it worked is like in the body switch movies, like uh, you know, like Freaky Friday or something like that. That's when it kind of worked. And then the best time it worked is in I think Freaky. Because it's like you got this little girl doing killer stuff, and you got Vince Vaughn pretending to be like a teenage girl. So that worked. But nevertheless, my point is, I didn't really like
you
Bogus
didn't like
Journey. I liked the first Bill and Ted, and I definitely didn't like
the
the
last
third
one.
thing. Thought
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
terrible.
I mean, I can understand why they would do it. Keanu's hot at the moment. I mean, he's really hot at the moment. He's pretty much untouchable right now. So I can understand if they. I would prefer a Speed sequel over a Bill and Ted sequel,
Yeah,
but you know,
I love a speed sequel. And then just for Alex Winters, if you're gonna give him some, I would love to see a a true sequel, or I don't know how you do it, but to Lost Boys, but with them, I don't know, as older people, and I don't know, maybe I don't know how you can do it, but you don't even need the
I feel like they would have to play different characters if you brought any
yeah,
of them back.
yeah, it's true.
But I'm cool with Kiefer coming back. I don't
Yeah,
care.
but yeah, the sea keeper is David somehow, like to be resurrected or something as David, but as an older David or something like that. It'd be kind
Yeah.
of cool. Like it's like a cool concept. I don't know. It doesn't really work for them now because obviously they're all older now. But Vampire Keeper Sutherland, who doesn't want to see that again?
I love to see it. But
Yeah,
my number third one, Polar Express is getting a sequel. And when I saw this, I sent it to Dawson right off because I know he's a big Polar Express fan. But I started thinking about it for a second. It's like, okay, obviously Tom Hanks would return, but where you go from this? I mean, if you do something different, you're still kind of telling the same story. Where do you go with a Polar Express sequel? Like,
I
I have no idea where you go with it.
all you can do is actually a remake with better animation, things like that. Maybe I don't know if you'll cast Tom Hanks again. Although I would venture to say Tom Hanks is the magic that was in the first film, and so it'd be hard to just. I think some things should just remain untouched. Even
Yeah,
Polish, even though like yes, the animation isn't as good as animation is now. It's kind of like the first Toy Story film. I wouldn't just say let's remake Toy Story. I would say it's okay
mm
to make sequels.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? No, 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 no. My
Don't
point
touch
is,
Toy Story now. Come on.
it's my point is that the first Toy Story film, or Bug's Life, or any of those Pixar, or even I know they're redoing Shrek. They're thinking about that, making a live action one. But I think that those things are, are great just the way they are, and no need to mess with the magic of Polar Express is the corniness, the cheesiness, the way it looks, but it's just magical for kids.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
granddaughter watched it a couple of years ago, and she absolutely was just like enthralled by it.
yeah.
So
I still like the movie. Me and Dawson watched it this past Christmas. We watch it every year. I just don't know where you go with a sequel, which is what's being announced. Is it's going to be a sequel? So I don't know where you go with a story following that. But up next, actually, the last two are horror related. I'll go with a movie. It was just announced this week that Netflix is doing a fourth Fear Street movie, and it's going to be called The Prom Queen, which is actually based on one of the books in Fear Street. I just wanted to get your thoughts on
yeah,
a
Fish
fourth.
Street. Fish Street in itself. The first one I didn't like as much. Part one,
Mhm.
I didn't like as much. Uh, The second one, I was all in. 'Cause I was like, oh, this is Crystal Lake. I was like, okay, I like where they're going with this. The third one, I didn't like as much until it kind of looped back into the first one, kind of tied everything together. Then it made me like, okay, I like this now. So I was overall pleased with the series, with the trilogy. Um, yeah, it's fine. It's gateway horror to like younger people. Although I think they weren't they rated R or were they
Yes,
PG-13?
it's definitely the sequel. The second one was rated R. It had sex scenes in it, man.
Yeah, yeah. And
I
then
was
like
actually going to show Dawson, and your
the
buddy
first,
David told me
yeah,
not to. He's like, no, don't show your kid.
yeah, yeah,
So,
Mary says Polar Express sequel. And then she question mark have to be careful with remakes. So hard to capture greatness again. All Quiet on the Western Front work. Yeah, well, All Quiet on the Western Front has been remade several times, but the last one is probably to me the best one that I've ever seen. The one that came on Netflix a
yeah,
couple years ago. I thought it was just did you watch it too? Did you?
yeah, I watched it.
It was just it was a hard movie to watch
Yeah, it's
ever.
hard. I agree. It's a hard
But,
movie to
but it
watch.
was a great movie. It was a great movie, but it's something that I've never watched again. It was a great movie.
That's me with war films in general. I most of the time I just cannot revisit it. It's real, man. It's just that stuff really happened, and it's inhumane, really. I mean, to watch these people kill each other, But
Mhm.
I understand. We're not gonna get into the whole politics about all that, but I mean, I just don't typically like revisiting. But as far as Fear Street goes, I'm excited for it. I read the book a few years ago, first time I read it, and I was like, man, this was a pretty cool concept. I look forward to it. I look forward to. I'm hoping though that this is a future trend that they are actually starting to develop the books, not just using the Fear Street title. But
Yeah.
my last one, this is the one I'm most excited for. I know you have not played the game, but Until Dawn, I know you've heard me talk a little bit about it, is getting a movie from the director of Lights Out and Annabelle Creation and Shazam. Your thoughts? I know just hearing me talk about it, you know a little bit about it. It feels like an 80s slasher movie, but it's not a slasher. There was a twist in the game. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but your thoughts of this video game being adapted?
That'd be kind of cool to see. I'm always in the mood for horror to be made. Video game horror film to be made if it's really good. And even if I don't know the IP, that's fine. Like I didn't know Five Nights at Freddy, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that I'm excited to see that. I want the one I want to be made into a real movie because they have real people acting as the characters is the quarry or something like
Yeah,
that. The
that's
quarry.
same company made Until Dawn made that.
Yeah, I would love to see that because for one, man, give me David Arquette anytime, bro. And
Yeah.
so
You know,
yeah,
if this does well, which I suspect it will, I think all their games will eventually be made into movies. But I'm really excited for it. I would love for the cast to return for the live action movie. Rami Malek was in it. He played Josh. Hayden Panettiere was the final girl. And the rest of them are pretty much unknown actors, but it would be a great story to see on film. I'm not gonna give what the twist is, but if you play the game, you already know what it is. But I can't wait because it's literally my favorite horror video game of all time. So I really can't wait for it.
well, amen. It's
All
fine.
right, here we go.
Look at this film. Uh, Lift it came out this year. It's PG-13, runtime to an hour 47 minutes. Uh, follows a master of thieves and his uh, Interpol agent ex-girlfriend who teams up to steal $500 million in gold bullion. Bullion, I guess bullion. I don't know if it's bullion or bullion. I don't know. Being transported on a A30, I don't know, A380 passenger flight. I don't know planes. Main ones that mentioned in this movie: Kevin Hart as Cyrus, uh, Juju Mabata Raw as Abby. Sam Worthington, who I knew from he played in like I remember in some type of Spartacus. He was Spartacus. He's in some type of movie where he was like a so like a war thing. I forget, like maybe
Oh,
ancient
Clash of
Rome.
the Titans.
That's the time, yeah, that guy. Then my dude Vincent D'Onofrio, which was underutilized in the film, and then your favorite standout is Billy Magnuson
Yeah.
or is Magnus. So yeah,
Which ironically, I thought that's who Kevin Hart should have played.
and then Gene Reno, John Reno. How you say his name?
I think it's Gene, but I'm not
Yeah,
100% sure on that.
yeah.
Yeah, he plays the villain that does villainous things.
Yeah. But anyway, uh, yeah, I would love to know what the scores is on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm
But
sure it's really bad.
yeah, this movie was terrible. It was terrible. It like I seen somebody post on Facebook. They said Lyft was a great way to sleep for an hour, almost an hour or so. Like and something like that. Like I was literally not interested in anything in this movie.
Well, here's what I will say. Here's the credit I'm going to give it. Because
Yeah,
I truly believe this. The last 30 to 35 minutes I felt was great. When the
yeah,
action finally happens, I thought it was great. I really did. I had a good time watching the last 30, 35 minutes. Before that, though, I thought it was a bland heist film where Kevin Hart, I mean, I like Kevin. Like,
hmm
I'm a fan of his. But to me, and it's not no discredit. He can act when he's working with the right people, like Bryan Cranston in that one movie. I think it was The Upside Down or something, where Bryan Cranston was basically paralyzed from the neck
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Kevin
yeah,
had to take care of him. I thought he
yeah.
did great
And
in that.
yeah, Kevin did a good job in that movie. Kevin, I agree. Like Kevin is the best paired with other people. And
Yeah,
whether it's and we know that he has a great formula, great. What's that word I'm looking for? Uh, Charisma or like when somebody has like work well together.
chemistry.
Chemistry. There you go. They had great chemistry with Dwayne.
Yeah,
And I think that and then I think he had great chemistry with Will Ferrell and Get Hard. Uh, but yeah, I think that I don't ever buy him in any type of tough guy or any type of role like this. I didn't really buy him as that guy.
yeah.
That
This is
is,
the second time he's tried to be an action star. The first time he worked with Travolta, which Travolta was like the teacher. And
mhm.
Travolta stole every scene in that. I don't want to even call it a movie,
Die
but
Hard. Is
Die
that what it
Hard.
is?
It's awful, but Travolta got me through it. I genuinely loved everything that man was doing in that movie. Then it went back to Kevin Hart, and I didn't genuinely hated everything he was doing. So,
Mhm.
and I'm a fan, but he does. This isn't him. He needs to stick to what he's really good at, and that is, I hate to say it, but it is kind of playing the side character to
Yeah,
someone that does like Dwayne's. He's an action star. I mean, he can do it. He fits that build.
yeah,
And Kevin was a great side character for him. It's
yeah,
just the way it is. It's the truth.
yeah. And it's no like it's honestly he and yeah, it's honestly just it's okay. Not every comedian or stand up comic is meant to be the main person in a movie and carry a film. Eddie was able to do it, but even with Eddie Eddie actually relied heavily on the people around him,
Yeah.
whether it was Come to America and Arsenio and the other cast members around him, or Trading Places. It was him and
Dan Aykroyd,
Dan Aykroyd and
Jamie
Dan
Lee.
Aykroyd, yeah, Jamie Lee, and they kind of elevated elevated that film from something that was just would have been meh, you know. But and I'm not giving Eddie. I'm not lowballing Eddie at all because Eddie was brilliant in that movie. But then Eddie's able to do movies like what's it called Mr. Church or whatever, uh, where he
I
was
haven't
like
seen that. I haven't
he
seen
was
that
like
one.
caregiver of a person. Uh, but he was believable as this guy who you know as and then he was able to do like in Dreamgirls, he was able to steal the show in that movie when he popped up on the screen. But I can't say the same for Kevin Hart. Like honestly, I
No, I
can't say the
think
same. Yeah, Kevin by himself isn't usually enough to get me interested in the film.
I'm trying to really think. I mean, I like Ride Along. I didn't care for the sequel as much, but I thought him and Ice Cube did work well together. The only
But
film I
again, Ice Cube, you're there for the cube.
that was actually my first time watching Kevin Hart. I didn't know who he was before that movie, so like I'll tell you right now, I didn't follow his stand up. I saw some of his stand up afterwards, but I didn't follow his stand up, and that's usually how it goes with me.
Mhm.
Unless you're Eddie or Robin or somebody that caliber, I don't usually follow it. But
I
I
agree.
did watch it afterwards. But I think the only movie I can think of that where I was like Kevin Hart led it and I actually enjoyed it was probably The Wedding Ringer, which I
Hmm.
know a lot of people don't like, but I thought he was funny in it and he was the main star. I mean,
Uh,
but that's really the only thing I can think of that's just Kevin Hart.
yeah, and the thing about Kevin is he plays the same character in a sense of like as far as like his that wisecracking, fast talking. No, like talking like I'm gonna I'm gonna do this, but then can't really do anything. He's really good at that type of character, and but it can only take you so far. Whereas somebody like he's not a comedian, but an example of someone like plays the same little character and everything, but it works. It's Samuel Jackson to play the same type of character in
Yeah.
all his films, but you still show up because it's Samuel Jackson.
And he does change it up every now and then.
Hmm.
Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. Some movies, Sam has had some really serious roles. He's underrated in Black Snake Moan. I thought he was really good. He's the only good thing in that movie, honestly.
and I
Uh,
think Quentin Tarantino gets the most out of him in his
I
films.
agree. I agree.
Like,
Uh,
he
I'm trying
knows
to think.
how to use him different because he plays a different character in every single movie he does with Quentin. He
Wasn't he
knows
in
how
a
to
movie?
use him.
Wasn't he in a movie with Matthew McConaughey? Is the
Yeah,
time to kill?
yeah. Time to Kill. Yeah,
Yeah, he was great in that movie.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
he was really unknown really at that point. I think in his
I've
career.
always felt Sam. They kind of he gets. I think he's misunderstood as an actor. Like people take him the wrong way. Like
Mhm.
he's just a guy that cusses a lot, and that's basically it. But it's not true. I mean, he's a very talented actor. I mean, I'm not saying he's up there with Denzel, but he's not that far behind.
Yeah,
Like he's second tier, I would say, as far as truly acting goes. I mean, he's not. He's a good actor. He's a great
yeah,
actor.
and I think Sam at this point in his career, he just likes to take roles that he can just have fun with. Like
Yeah,
I let's do a movie that I can just have fun with, and he earned that. He earned
yeah.
that in his career to be able to do something like that. But the thing with Kevin, I think that Kevin is it's just I just feel like I don't know, just like he's never been a person that interests me at all, regardless if it's stand up. I know he has some bits that it's kind of funny. It's but when I think about no. When I think about the great comedians, I don't think of Kevin Hart. I think of Richard Pryor. I think of Eddie Murphy. I think of, like you said, Robin Williams. I think of Mitch Hedberg. I think of um, like those people that like uh, shoot what's his name? I'm thinking I see his name. I see his face. But I can't think of his name. He played Rufus in Bill and Ted.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't think of his name either.
His name. But yeah, I think about him. Red Fox. I think about like people. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is one of those comedians that
I'm
I
just
would
waiting for it. I'm just
put
waiting
up there.
for it.
No, I'm gonna mention him. But no, Dave Chappelle. But even with that, with Dave Chappelle and the Chris Rock, they like. But then you have like another tier in which the Cat Williams would be in that tier.
Here we go. Here it
He,
comes.
he would be in that tier. But I would say also I say the Bernie Mac is in that higher tier, and I would say that Robin Harris was in that top tier. But he unfortunately died at a young age, and so couldn't really see. Lenny Bruce would probably been in that tier, but he died at a young age. But yeah, and but you have um, there's so many to go on and on. Sam Kinison, but I think that with Kevin, he isn't no Cat Williams, but Cat Williams did say this, and this Cat Williams comments, and he was saying
Oh,
that
I know he did. I think there's
it,
a lot of jealousy on both parts, though. I really do.
what's your thoughts on well, first of all, what's your thoughts on Cat Williams? As,
Look,
as
here's the thing. I literally do not know his comedy. I admit I don't keep up with stand up. I know who he is. I've seen his TikToks. I even done a few of them. So I think he's funny. But I like when he did the interview with Shannon Sharp, which I know who Shannon Sharp is. I follow the NFL, so I know exactly who he is. Um, I was more looked at it from this point. Okay, why is he saying this now? I'm not discrediting him at all. I probably is true. All of it's probably true. I'm just what's the motivation now? And I feel like some of it is he's jealous of where Kevin is. Because for a guy that's supposedly not funny at all, he really is top of Hollywood.
yeah,
I'm not saying he did it the right way. He probably didn't. Because I have some experience in this. I know what you got to do to get where you want to go. And I'm not willing to go there. I'm just being honest. I know what I've had instructors tell me what will be required of me to get the role I want to get. And I'm not willing to go there. Now, were they talking about Harvey Weinstein? I do not know. But I knew they were in Hollywood for a brief stint, and they gave me some advice. And I've experienced it myself in Nashville, where a guy was groping my leg. So
oh
I'm not discrediting anything Katt Williams said about Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, or the other dude, or I think there was another one mentioned as well. But
you mentioned Steve Harvey, Cedric Entertainer, Faison Love,
yeah, face
uh,
on.
Ricky Smiley.
Yeah,
Mainly mentioned Ricky Smiley because
Chris
they work
Tucker.
together.
He even mentioned Chris Tucker.
Yeah,
Like
but I don't
I'm
know
not
what.
going to go in details about what he said about Chris. 'Cause I feel that was wrong. Unless you really have some proof, you can't be just saying he's part of that island.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of jealousy though on Katt's part, and then announcing that he's getting Kevin Hart's ex-wife to join his tour. Come on,
yeah.
that's
But I mean, he's gonna. But controversy equals profit, so
yes, it does.
he's gonna have probably one of his biggest paydays, and I
And
assume Netflix is gonna want to make another like stand up show with Cat Williams, and he can do that. You know, he's had several Netflix specials, but I don't know, man. I like Cat Williams. I like it not so much. I've really never really seen a lot of his stand up, but I'm more familiar with his acting work in like some movies. Like I just seen that Father Figure, and I
yeah,
thought he was really good in that. In Atlanta, he plays the uncle of um, uh, Donald Glover's uncle in that show, the Gator Man they call him.
yeah,
But yeah, he was like he's really good in this show and very believable as this guy, and so I think that he's talented. Now, what he said, there is receipts for him, like where Cedric stole a bit from him. Bernie stole bits from people too. Like it's the nature of the beast of being stand up. You're gonna have people that's gonna bite your stuff,
Yeah,
steal your jokes.
but I
Uh,
think the main one
most,
was as far as Cat went, it was Steve Harvey stealing from Bernie,
yeah, yeah,
which I did see from a comedy special. Bernie Mac said they were all stealing from him, but he made it funny. He didn't insult them or anything.
yeah,
He just made
yeah,
it funny. He
yeah.
made a joke about it.
Bernie. The thing about Bernie Mac is he was ahead of his time. He was one of those stand up comedians that were just funny. One of his most famous little things is he was a Def Comedy Jam, and all the comedians were being heckled and booed, and pretty much read off the stage essentially by the audience, which was live in New York. I think it's in Brooklyn. But yeah, they were just like being ran off. And then I might be wrong, but where Barrow was. But anyway, they being ran off. But then like Bernie Mac got out there and said, "I ain't scared of you," in that person, and then like just started like going into his jokes. But then every time he said his punchline, he just cut the. He tell the Kid Capri to kick it, and then like Kid Capri would like play a little mix of song, and then Bernie
Yeah,
would say cut him off, and he says, "I ain't scared of you," just really started using that into his bit, and he killed, man. Bernie also, I love seeing him show up in movies or shows or things like that. And he was a great loss to the entertainment world when he
hmm
died. But
yeah, he
but
was.
yeah,
I
but
love
Kevin,
Bernie,
yeah, I love Bernie.
but as far as Kevin, what I mean, I'm a fan of Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Hart. The stand up I've seen a couple of his stand up specials. I actually enjoyed them. I laughed quite a bit. But I just feel with his problem, and he's got a problem with Katt Williams. I don't know. I know they did one of the scary movies together. Kevin was in 3 and 4, and I think Kat was in one of those.
At this point, I stopped watching scary movies. I can't
I
even think about them.
but I would
I,
say that their issues probably happened on that set
yeah,
initially. I would say that's probably when they started having a problem with one another.
yeah.
And
He said that Cat wore a dress, and then he got this. I don't know. I will say this that I've yet to watch a full. I've watched more of a Cat Williams stand up than I have uh, Kevin Hart stand up. And from what I've seen of Cat, he was funny, but it's just if that's your taste of comedian. It's not
yeah,
my taste of comedian, and that's because I will say this, and I say this to everyone, and I don't care. My favorite comedian of all time is Sinbad. Not he's not a comic. He's not gonna cuss and things like that. But I think that Sinbad is one of the most relatable, hilarious comedians to ever grace the stage, and I would most definitely watch him above the rest of them. Other than the legends, like I said, like the Eddies and the
yeah,
Richards and stuff like that. But in the Robin Williams, who's able to make you believe he is now this thing. So
yeah.
but yeah,
But as far as my favorite, as far as stand up go, it has to be Robin. But as far as all comedy, and you're gonna be shocked by this, it's not Jim Carrey. It's actually he's no longer with us. He's not been with us for over 20 years. It's actually Jack Lemmon. I've
I
always
mean,
been such a fan of his. And I always thought it was just because of him and Walter together, but over the years I've watched his other movies where it was just him, and I was like, I love that guy, and I wish he was here.
I want to
He's
mention this about them, Jack and Walter. For one, Jack seemed like such a like he was one of those guys that when you seen him in a movie, you were like, it just warmed you just to see
hmm
him. It warmed you to see him, and then the added bonus whenever he with Walter, you was like, you
yeah,
was in for a good movie.
yeah.
Period. So yeah.
And they were clean comedy too. They didn't have to be vulgar to be funny, which I think that is almost impossible today. You have to. I don't traditionally see many comics today that can make you laugh without being vulgar, and that's just the way it is. I mean, the world's completely different today. But yeah, I mean, as far as what he said though, and you brought it up about the dresses, I had a problem with that because he said it's all black men or black comedians, therefore.
Well, yeah, go
And
ahead.
I've seen many comedians in general been put in dresses. It's a Holly weird thing to do. It's just, I mean,
But
Robin's biggest film, he's a woman. He's dressed
yeah,
up like a woman. Jim Carrey, they
but
put him in a tutu in Ace Ventura. Even The
but
Rock was in a tutu.
but,
I
but,
mean,
but the thing about it is it's this. It's the in Hollywood it has a history of demasculating the black man.
yeah,
In a sense of it wants to take the masculinity out of the man, the black man, uh, in however way we can do this, or to make him not appear to be a man. And so people like Sidney Poitier fought against that type of vision. I would argue and say so did Bill Cosby at some point. I would say, but I know that's kind of a hit, you know. But anyway, I think that there's people. Then Harry Belafonte, just like just you think about people like a Denzel who hasn't done that. You can't see Denzel wear this.
I
Because
can't.
yeah, yeah, because he
He
is a
protects
natural.
himself. I
Yeah,
will say that. I don't even recall Morgan Freeman do anything
Morgan.
like that.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman's another one that would do that. I would argue. I don't even think you see Samuel L. Jackson do it, but you see Ving Rhames do it in the Mrs. whatever. I don't know what the movie was. He was like a
Wesley Snipes did it.
West Side and Fu Wong Fu. Yeah. So you see, and I would argue and say that it it hurts their credibility going forward as like once you see somebody do that, it's hard to try to see that. Well, but with white actors and comedians and stuff, it's not hard to. I don't know. Well,
I
it
think that
depends.
I think
Like,
that
like,
movie
like,
though killed Patrick Swayze's career as well.
yeah,
He never recovered from that, and
yeah, yeah. I would say that too, because he was so far a leading man in the to do that movie. It just was not. And then
and
the only one that would probably bounce back is John Leguizamo,
yeah, I mean that's different. People didn't
but
view
he was
him like
really unknown then.
yeah, and I would even say this: when Arnold came
Did
pregnant,
yeah,
his,
yeah,
his career. I love that movie. It's my favorite comedy of his, but his career never was the same either. So I mean, I
yeah.
think it hurt
Whenever
people. I think people kind of looked at it as like, oh, you'll do anything to
if
make
I
it,
was
and you already
I would
made
say
it. So I
I,
mean,
I say the same thing for Sylvester when he did "Don't Shoot Him," "Don't Stop or My Mom Will Shoot" or something like that.
yeah,
It it marked the decline in his career.
yeah,
That eventually he was able to bring it back by getting back to his roots of who he was, which was Rocky, which was Expendables, which is Rambo. He got back to like who he was.
yeah,
But yeah, it's hard to bounce back from that. But then when it gets to like comedians
yeah.
and stuff like
I
that,
would. I actually
it,
agree. I agree, but I just didn't like that he said that it was. He made it like a black thing, and
yeah, what he was doing is pulling the curtain back to reveal like some things, conversation that we as a community have about
yeah.
like when it comes to that
But
type of stuff.
I do agree it does hurt people's careers. I think it hurt Martin Lawrence's career when he became Big Mama.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is never, he's never, and to his credit, I would say that I don't know if Will has ever done it,
Chris
but
Rock has on Fresh Prince. I remember
yeah,
that episode. Chris Rock dressed up like a woman on Fresh Prince.
yeah, yeah. See, man, it's just not, yeah, hey, where? And then Dave Chappelle said that when he was doing Blue Street, which yeah, let me see, when
Yeah,
he was doing Blue Street, he said that they were like, hey man, we got this funny thing. Well, I need you to put on this dress. And he essentially was very adamantly says, no, I'm not wearing a dress. And and then finally they're like, okay, well we have this other thing for you to do that, but they had it so fast, so he's like,
Yeah.
why you know? But yeah, but nevertheless, let's get back to old Lifty. Uh, Lift.
Okay.
This,
Okay, come on, Aaron. Let's give the people something positive about this movie from
yeah.
your perspective.
Well, the most positive for me, I love seeing Vincent D'Onofrio in anything. But I think that like he was like
I didn't.
really underutilized, and it was very. I didn't like seeing him in the different wigs because I know he's playing Kingpin, and I know he's currently. I don't know if he's bald for real or what, but I think he shaved completely for that role. I don't know, but I don't know, but I Vincent D'Onofrio is one of those actors that is underrated,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
I think that like it's a waste of his talent to be in this movie.
Yeah, when I saw the trailer to this, the trailer looked okay. It didn't look like it was going to be spectacular. I didn't really think it would be. But when I saw him pop in the trailer, I was like, "Oh, he's going to bring a fabulous character because he's a very good character actor, and you don't get that in this movie." That's what surprised me the most. But what really shocked me the most, you hired Sam Worthington, who is this? I think this is his first movie coming off Avatar 2,
Yeah,
one of the biggest movies of that year. And he's got a little bit part in this. And I don't
very
understand.
forgot he's even in the movie until he pops back up. I'm like, oh yeah, he is it.
It just, he wasn't good in this. And I don't know, I felt like his character just would sell anybody out to
Yeah,
get what he thought the FBI wanted, or I think that's who they work for, the FBI, but I'm not 100% sure.
yeah.
That's it's a forgettable little subplot about
Interpol. They work for Interpol.
Interpol. Yeah, Interpol. Okay, but anyway, he would do anything to get whatever their mission in life is, whatever their objective is. He would do anything. He would sell out anybody, in which he does, and he gets punched in the face at the end of the movie.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
the very first heist in this movie, which included heisting Jacob Batalon,
Um,
N8, which is we know him from
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man movies. Uh, I don't understand what that heist was. They stole him, but what did it benefit them to do that? I don't understand because they end up paying him over whatever he asked for, but
Yeah.
I don't understand. It makes zero sense. It was a pointless heist. I don't know why. It makes zero sense.
Yeah, it was just to really get them to arrest Vincent's character and bring in Kevin Hart, saying to do the job for them that they want him to do. Yeah, that was just to get to point A to point B, but really, when you really think about it, it really don't make any sense.
Yeah,
I was actually hoping he was going to be in the movie more than just a little cameo, but I'm
yeah.
starting to
Yeah,
wonder why he's
that's
bald
what
though. Why is he bald?
I think in real life he's bald. I think
Uh,
that 'cause I've seen him do interviews post Spider Man. I think he shaved his head. I don't know. I think that's what he did. But I don't know. I also want to mention John Reno in this film. Uh, most famously was in Leon the Professional, which is an excellent film. And then I think he was also in the 1998, 1999 Godzilla film.
he's in
Uh,
Godzilla.
yeah, but he, man, talk about another guy that was underutilized, and just I feel like this movie wasted. You had rich rich acting people in this movie, and they relied too heavily on comedy that wasn't there, jokes that wasn't there, and then like the action was not believable. Like I believe Jackie Chan can disassemble a gun, you know, or whatever, but I don't believe Kevin Hart can do it. Now the only time that was nice was with the Magnus character when he did it on that one road, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, my bad, I didn't know I was gonna do that to you," you know.
Yeah, I wished he'd been in it more.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, I feel if I could have cast this movie, I would actually have Kevin Hart play his character. I feel that character fits Kevin more.
Who
But
would have been Kevin? Would you get Dwayne?
I actually would have put Sam Worthington in that role.
Hmm.
Honestly, I figure he's more of a straight man. He's more of an
But,
action star. I mean, he's coming
but
off freaking Avatar.
but Kevin makes more. Kevin probably draws more than a
Yeah,
Sam
he
Worthington.
probably. I mean, obviously he does, but Kevin's not a leading man. Let's be
Yeah.
real here. I mean, in his biggest films, he's the sidekick. He's Central Intelligence. He's the sidekick. Jumanji films. He's the sidekick. That movie's all about Dwayne, and
Even even in the Secret Life of Pets and stuff, he's not really.
well, I haven't
Although
seen those.
was he like the lead? Maybe he was. I don't know. I never paid attention to those movies.
And he's another sidekick in the DC Pets movie. I have seen that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I'm not huge with it. And then I thought that the lady that they casted, the Abby, she's forgettable. She's really forgettable. Like, and
Abby.
you see what? Yeah, exactly.
Is that the Asian girl that's on the
No,
plane, or is that the
the,
main girl?
the Interpol
Okay,
agent.
yeah. I mean, she looks pretty, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
yeah, this movie, I thought that it was a wasted effort. It's just a very forgettable film, and I don't know. Like, hopefully, Kevin has something else around the corner this
oh,
year.
he's got a lot around the corner. I told you 3 of them yesterday. And I hate Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
He's got Planes, Trains, and Automobiles remake. He's got the Great Outdoors remake. Forget the other one I told you about. He's also got that. He's got another Jumanji movie with The Rock.
It's not Family Vacation or that maybe.
No. It's not, I didn't see that on there.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's a forgettable movie. You ready to give your mark for it? This is terrible. The movie's terrible.
Yeah, you go first.
I'm gonna give it just one mark out of
One.
1 out of 5. I felt
Wow.
like there's nothing in it that was interesting enough to. I literally turned when it went off. I just because my grandbaby was here and I put on something else. I put on robots and I'm like, oh, I miss Robin Williams. That's what I thought while I was watching it. I was like, oh, Robin's doing the voice in here. I love Robin.
So you
A
gave
real
this a
comedian.
1 because you just didn't have a good time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Basically. All
yeah.
right, I'm going higher.
Ooh,
I'm going much higher.
ooh.
Actually, I'm
Yeah,
giving this a 2.5 out of 5 because I don't feel like it's a terrible movie. I just feel like it was kind of bland, and I feel like it picked up in the last act. Which before that, I was going to give it a 2, and I was like, okay, this gets it enough for me to 2.5. But it's not because of Kevin Hart. I want to make that clear. I just felt the last act had what I wanted to see. It
yeah.
had a lot of action. It was a lot was going on, and plus that
Mhm.
Billy character was doing a lot too. So, which he did a lot in the first 2 acts. He's what kept me somewhat interested in the movie,
Yeah.
and then they kind of took him away. But then he comes back at the end. But I I don't feel it's a terrible movie. I just feel it's going to be a forgettable movie.
Very forgettable. Yeah.
But it gets a 2.5 for me. It was if you got nothing to do. And the only
And
reason I picked it because it's a
nothing
new
but what?
release. But if you got nothing to do, yeah, watch it watch it for your own experience, watch it for your own opinion. If you're a fan of Kevin Hart, give it a chance. If you're a fan of Sam Worthington, don't give it a chance because he needs to fire his agent. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
he really does. If you like seeing John Reno, I hadn't seen him in a while. Give it a
Give it a chance.
chance. But I
If
actually thought the other
like
bad
Jacob
guy was pretty
DiMaggio,
good.
yeah. So the other bad guy is actually in Game of Thrones. He's one of he's not a big bad in that show, but he was like a minor bad that popped up in a few of the seasons. Um, but yeah, he's really decent. He's very villainly. Like he has a villainous face.
He does.
and
He
he
does.
just really. He's, so when I seen him in here, I'm like, oh, he's got to be the villain because he's the villain in Game of Thrones. So I immediately thought of, and it's funny because me and my wife was going back and watching that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I just seen him not too long ago in that show. So yeah,
Which I also felt this film sets up a sequel with
yeah,
Sam Worthington's character is going to be chasing them now because they didn't. Spoilers. I know it's only been out like 4 or 5 days. They kind of pull off a Fast and Furious Fast 5 with the gold. That's all I'm gonna say. It's kind of it's a switcheroo, and which everybody does.
Yeah, yeah, it's very Fast and Furious. It's very Ocean's 11 without being Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
Ocean's is a brilliant film.
I wouldn't compare it to any Ocean's film, although I know it's in the same subgenre. It's to compare it to those, you got to get real actors. I know we said they had rich actors, and they do. Vincent's a fabulous actor, and Jean Reno's a fantastic actor as well. But we're talking about George Clooney. We're talking about the big hitters, man. We're talking about Brad Pitt, George Clooney,
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac was in those. But now,
and Andy Garcia's in it.
That's the kind of role Kevin Hart should have had. You gotta know who you are. You gotta know your brand. You're not the action star. I'm sorry, you're just not. You're making me insult Kevin Hart, and I don't like it. But nah, you're not making me. I'm just being honest. He's not. Who?
Was Don Cheadle even in it? Was he?
Yeah.
So I don't even remember him being in the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in long.
Julia Roberts.
That'd be a good one to revisit the Ocean's film.
I haven't seen the last one, and I didn't see the prequel with the women.
Ocean's is on Peacock, so just in case you ever want to choose it, it's there. Ocean's 12 is on Peacock as well. I would say all of them probably on Peacock. And then I would say 13. I don't include the ladies because
it's a prequel. It's George Clooney's sister. How could you not include it?
Because
I just never got to watch it. Hey, that's you. You do you.
So anyway,
what are you picking next week?
I'm picking next week. I'm going to be picking. I think we're going to pick Blue Streak because it's on Netflix, and I've been wanting to watch that. You know, I wanted to save it for the kind of towards the summer because it's going to kick off my thing. If not, then I might pull Audible. But
most definitely will.
I'll tell you what it's between. So, but I didn't know. I know you've seen Blue Streak, but I don't. But I don't think you've never seen Five Heartbeats, have you?
No.
I wanted to show you that. So I think I'm gonna choose Five Heartbeats. I don't know if it's gonna whenever it's gonna leave Max. So I want to show you that while it's on Max. So Five Heartbeats is my pick.
Five Heartbeats.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, this episode was a little bit all over the place. If you did enjoy it, thanks, Aaron and his Katt Williams comments. If you enjoyed it, come back next week. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook, and come back for the Five Heartbeats next week.
Yep, and then also feel free to comment. If you see us on YouTube, comment. If you see us on Facebook, comment. If it comes up, try to have our Facebook up, and I try to engage with you as I see them. I thank you for Mary for commenting. I don't see them out. Mary Kratchner Whitlow, I thank you for commenting on the post. Those that tuned in, I appreciate you tuning in, even if it's just for a second or two. Well, thank you. Thank you for engaging with us and enjoying the show. Next week we will be back with Five Heartbeats.
And
sure.
If you do comment, let us know if you've seen the movie, let us know what you thought about Lift. Do you agree with Aaron that it's just a terrible movie? Do you agree with me? You think it's okay? It's a little bland at some parts, but it picks up. Or did you really love the movie? Either way, tell us what your thoughts are.
Yeah. Well, Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
Thank you for marking out with us here on the Mark Out Movie Podcast.